Hello, everybody. Welcome to the alternative class. And in our alternative class, we have been doing the gift of the Magi. Who is the author here? O. Henry. And today is the 10th lecture. So, let me give a brief flashback of the previous lectures that we have done. In our previous lectures, we have discussed the entire story in detail. We have gone through the paragraph-wise explanation. Then we have discussed the situational or comic irony in the story, how the comic irony is related to the twist in the story. Then we had discussed the significance of the title of the story, why the title of the story has been entitled as The Gift of the Magi, and who the real Magi are. Then we also tried to draw a relationship between King Solomon and Jim, the character in the story. So today I bring up to you another topic which is very much necessary and essential for you to understand. So without much delay, let us move on to the topic. So today's topic is bring out the relationship between Della and the Queen of Sheba. As I have told you, just like Jim and King Solomon, there is also a relationship between Della and the Queen of Sheba. And it is an intentional device utilized by our author, that is O. Henry. So in this story, we have already understood that O. Henry, he is narrating the story of a poor couple, Della and Jim, where there is a sharp contrast drawn between their real life materialistic poverty and the wealth of love between the couple, which is a very rare sight in the modern day world. The heroine, that is Della Dillingham Young, she has been described as a very young lady, as young as her husband himself, and just other than being beautiful, she was also the owner of rich luxurious dresses, which have been compared by the author with a brown cascade. What is the meaning of a cascade? A fountain, a spring, or a waterfall. There's such a lavish hair that the word cascade suits, and it was brown in color, very beautiful texture. In order to provide a brief idea of how much Della valued her hair, her beautiful hair, our author, he alludes to a very famous mythological character, a character who appears in the Bible as well, in the Old Testament of the Bible, who was known for her riches, that is Queen of Sheba. I don't have to explain you much about Queen of Sheba because I had already discussed with you regarding the Queen of Sheba, that she was popular, she was famous for her wealth. Just like King Solomon, she was also one of the wealthy queens, and she had a huge kingdom, and she was known for her wisdom, her knowledge. She had come to King Solomon's court with the intention of testing King Solomon's knowledge. And Della, how can we relate Della with Queen of Sheba? It is not that Della was very rich. We have already read, or rather the author has made it known to us that Della was very poor. She was the wife of a you know, poor person called Jim, who was working hard for a living, earning just $20 per week, which was a very, frugal or meager amount to survive in a city like New York. Now, coming back to the Queen of Sheba, there is a reference in the Bible that the queen had brought extremely valuable gifts while she visited the court of King Solomon. And her gifts included rich spices, precious gems, and gold, of course. This provided evidence of her wealth, of the fact that she was indeed wealthy, by stating that Della's hair would depreciate the gifts of Queen of Sheba. The author wishes to express how valuable Della's hair was to her. Remember, she imagines, had the Queen of Sheba lived in the flat across the air shaft means a small narrow passage between two blocks of building, okay? Della, she would have let her hair hang out of the window someday to dry. She would, open, or rather let her hair fall down the window. I suppose you remember the character Rapunzel. Rapunzel, when she was locked in the tower by the witch, she used to hang out her hair to dry. So Della somehow imagined that maybe she would also let her hair hang out the window to dry. And if Her Majesty, that is, if the Queen of Sheba, who was known for her abundant jewels and gifts, happened to notice her hair, even her wealth would be depreciated. Depreciated means become less in value. In a way, through these words, the author is trying to suggest that for Della, her hair was more precious than all the wealth of the Queen of Sheba. Right? We are brought across Della during a time when she was facing lot of economic problems. Her husband was facing lot of economic trouble. And Della, it is mentioned that Della couldn't have lived through Christmas without gifting her husband something, because Christmas time is a time when people exchange gifts. Just like any other young couple, Della and Jim also wanted to gift one another something that is good, something that is, up to the mark. But alas, Della hardly had that much of amount. So what she does? She goes up to Madame Sofroni and cuts her hair, sells it to the lady. She knew that if her hair is cut, it would depreciate her look. She would no longer look beautiful or ladylike. She was worried if Jim would at all appreciate her change, the new look, with her hair cut short. Yet she took up the risk. Why? The reason is very simple. Jim played much more importance in her life than her lovely dresses. So her dresses, which she could compare with all the wealth of the Queen of Sheba, suddenly becomes valueless in front of Jim. Jim and her love for Jim. Okay, so it is quite ironical. It's sometimes, it feels like Della is stupid in a way to have thought that her hair could even stand a comparison with Queen of Sheba's wealth, her riches. But just like the author, the readers, we are also, you know, we are also attracted and we are touched by the way Della selflessly sacrifices that asset which she considered to be her most precious possession. And why? Just to make Jim happy. She had noticed many a time that Jim was ashamed of taking out his pocket watch, which was again another family heirloom that the couple had. And the reason was that why he was ashamed to take out the watch? Because it was attached to a leather strap. And now, Della, she knew that if that leather strap could be exchanged with something that suited that watch, probably Jim would be confident, right? And this is the reason why, just to bring a smile on his face, just to make his confidence high, his spirits rise, Della thoughtlessly, sacrificed her valuable hair. It is nothing but an act of true selfless love. We must understand that true selfless love and the desire to sacrifice in love is the true essence of Christmas. Something that is found missing in today's generation. People think about material value of gifts, but can anything be richer, more precious than sacrifice? Of course not. Through her sacrifice, the sacrifice that Della makes, the sacrifice of her beautiful, bountiful, rich hair, she definitely rises in stature in comparison to the rich queen of Sheba, showing, professing her love, her wealth of love, as well as her wisdom of making the right choice. Though her act, it's an act of foolishness to cut the hair without thinking twice, because her hair is not going to grow back immediately. This will take quite a long amount of time. Her act of foolishness, it contradicts the wisdom of the queen. It's true. But the way and the reason why she acted foolishly, that makes her wiser. Okay? And this actually also justifies the title of the story. Why the gifts have been considered the gift of Magi? The gifts of Magi. Why? Why are Della and Jim's gift considered to be the gift of the Magi? Not because they cost a huge amount of money, but the sacrifice that was involved, the wise decision, the right choice, the right decision to sacrifice one another's happiness to make the other person happy, that is the true act of love and hence an act of wisdom. That is why our author O. Henry considers Della and Jim to be wise people. So you can now understand how Della can be related with the Queen of Sheba. Firstly, because of her rich tresses, which according to her were comparable with all the riches of the Queen of Sheba. Secondly, in the matter of wisdom, though her act was foolish, the reason why she acted thus makes her wise, as wise or even more than the Queen of Sheba. I suppose you have understood this much. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any doubts, please do write down in the comment section that is given below, or you can even contact me directly. Thank you very much.